Alright, how's it going, you lot? It's time to have a look at this soldering iron. This HoLife soldering iron. Now, I did an unboxing video of this and I was alright with it. I was pretty happy with it. It's a nice sort of thing, you know. No real problems. But when I turned it on, I did notice there was a problem with it. And as I've used it, there is definitely a design problem with it. But we'll go to that in a moment. It's alright the way it is. It's a bit light though. Buttons, well, they work. You get a decent sized sponge. You get some tip cleaner, which is always handy. It's nice to have a little bit of that, like we incorporated to the unit. The wires, they're alright. I suppose the helping hands, they will come in handy. But the main problem with it is quite a bad one, I suppose. And I noticed it near enough straight away. The actual grip on this iron here, this grip here, it gets very hot, and it gets too hot to touch after a little while. I get the impression that, because I've contacted them and I'm waiting for a reply, and when I get a reply, if they come up with a solution, then I'll make a video and I'll tell you the solution, because I want to give them a fair chance. But I wonder how many of these they've sold and people have just, you know, ignored the problem. But the problem is, as I say, this gets far too hot. If we compare to one of my usual soldering irons, this grip, it never ever gets even hot. It doesn't even get warm. In fact, it's, you know, you can hold this, you can have the iron on all day, as I do, and as many people would do probably, and it never gets hot, and you can use this and it's fine. But with this iron, it's as simple as that. This grip here, it gets warm after a while, and if you have it on for any more than probably 10 to 15 minutes, and I tend to use this one at about 400 degrees. This iron here, oh god, I can't remember, I think this one's set to 370 degrees, but it's only 20 degrees difference, you know, or 30 degrees difference. This one's 400. I've got a number 8 tip to go in this one. I use an 8 tip in this sometimes, which is 425 degrees, and still the grip never gets hot. So I put this one at 400 because I find that's a nice temperature to solder. I turn it down a little bit if I'm doing circuit board work, such as in a burner or an amplifier, for example, because you don't want the iron to be too hot when you're working on all the board and everything like that. But even at a lower temperature, even at 350 degrees, that grip still got far too hot to actually hold. You know, it becomes very uncomfortable. Even now, it becomes very uncomfortable to hold. It's alright just holding it like that, of course. But if you're, I'm not left-handed, I'm right-handed, but I'm holding the camera obviously. But if you're, you know, doing some work like that, trying to solder, and it, you know, you kind of think, oh, I really should be letting go of this because it's getting too hot, you know, and you're sort of doing that, you're sort of going, oh, you know, and then you go back, oh. Now, I have used this iron and I remedied that by wrapping a piece of cloth around the handle, yeah, and I just held it on with a piece of tape. So you can use the iron, and once I put the bit of cloth around it with a piece of tape to hold it on, it was fine. And the actual soldering iron itself, the base and the iron itself works. It melts solder, it stays hot, it doesn't go cold. It seems to work well, apart from that problem. But that's not the point. My whole point is, if you buy a product, you shouldn't have to modify it to be able to use it. So if you buy this soldering iron, you shouldn't have to wrap a piece of cloth around it, or you shouldn't have to make your own grip to be able to use it, because it's a brand new product. I'd understand it if, like these ones for example, I bought my other soldering irons from a factory that closed down, and it's still got the pat test on it, last tested in 2004, so it's older than 2004, so it's well old, this soldering iron. If this got hot, I'd wrap a piece of cloth around it, make my own handle, because it's an old iron. You know, that's an old iron, you've got to make things work. But when you buy a brand new product, you want, it should be perfect. It should work. You shouldn't have to do anything to it. You shouldn't have any. The handle should not get hot. So that's that is my problem with this soldering iron so far. You know, the fact that you have to sort of modify it to make it usable. I would like to know if any of you have bought one of these. I'm not interested in different models. I'm interested in this particular one. Have you got one? Have you got the same problem? Perhaps you've got tougher hands than me and you don't think it gets that hot, but I think it would be. And I reckon the kind of people who want to buy this, if you're a serious like you know, solderer as such, if you're like a proper electrical engineer and you do a lot of soldering, you're more than likely going to be buying. You're going to have a good iron. These ones are about £400 when they were new. These are proper good soldering irons. These ones, you're going to have a good iron. I can't imagine a proper person going out and buying one of these cheap Chinese ones. I just can't. The type of people who are going to buy these are going to be very novice people, probably quite young, probably kids. You know, to learn electrical work or to do a bit of soldering or something like that. There might even be the grown up sort of 40-50-year-old person that might buy one of these because they think, oh, you know, modern technology and this is cheap, the Chinese. Some people go for the cheap Chinese stuff, but I definitely think that is a big problem, and I don't trust it, to tell you the truth. So I don't use it anymore. I used it for testing purposes to see what the iron was like so I could make the review video, and as I said, it functions fine. That is a big problem. As I said, well, it was only about 30 odd quid, so it's 40 quid actually, but I will be sending it back if they don't come back with a solution. So yeah, that's my review so far. I know it's very small, there's not a lot to talk about in my soldering iron, to tell you the truth. But I really wanted to point that out because that's a big problem. Big problem. In fact, I think somebody commented on it actually. I'll have to read through the comments on the other video, but I think somebody did comment that there's a problem with the handles, and I haven't really read it in full yet because I haven't had a chance. But that is a problem. So thanks for watching, and as I said, if they get back to me, the people who sell these, who are in China, the people who make them, they've asked for a video of the problems. I've sent them a video and photographs. So if they get back to me and they actually have a fix for it, maybe they send me a different iron, although you can't really, it's not detachable, but maybe they'll come up with some sort of fix, maybe a new handle or something like that, I don't know. Or well, even that's moulded. Can't really change that. On these ones you can change the irons, but all the elements you can rebuild the whole lot. I don't know if you can on these Chinese ones. I will update you lot on what they've done. If they come back to me and say, well, you're using it too hot of a temperature or something, then I'll say that's bollocks because it goes up to 480 degrees. If it goes up to 480 degrees, you should be able to use it at 480 degrees. There's no point in having a product that goes up to a certain temperature, but you can't use it at that temperature. That's why have it go to that temperature. So we'll see what they say. I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt. They seem very good so far. They've been very good and polite so far. So we'll go from there. I'll catch you later, you lot, and let me know your comments on this. Let me know your thoughts. Thanks for watching.